The Formula One paddock is on fire, and not just from the scorching summer sun. Behind the calm smiles and polished PR statements, the rivalry between drivers has never been hotter. At the centre of it all, a young Australian who has shaken the establishment to its core. Oscar Piastri, once the quiet rookie learning the ropes, now finds himself compared to Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso by none other than his team principal, Andrea Stella. And if that wasn't enough to stir the pot, word of those comparisons has already sent ripples of fury across the paddock, with Alonso himself far from amused. For Fernando Alonso, the idea that a 24-year-old might be compared to him or worse, positioned to surpass him, has clearly struck a nerve. The Spaniard, known for his fierce pride and uncompromising attitude, has made no secret of his frustration in recent weeks. Sources in the paddock suggest that the Aston Martin driver has bristled at Stella's remarks, reportedly describing Piastri's rise as overhyped and a product of McLaren's politics rather than pure talent. Yet for Stella, the praise is no exaggeration. Few men in Formula One carry his weight of experience. The Italian engineer was Michael Schumacher's performance right-hand man during Ferrari's golden era in the early 2000s, sharing the garage for 5 consecutive championship triumphs. Later, he worked with Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso during their Ferrari stints, gaining a unique window into the mindset of champions. When Stella says he sees something special in Piastri, the paddock listens even if some don't like what they hear. Piastri's rise to prominence has been nothing short of meteoric. From winning back-to-back F3 and F2 titles as a rookie to securing a seat at McLaren in 2023, the Australian has consistently displayed the hallmarks of greatness. What has caught Stella's eye, however, is not just raw speed, but Piastri's composure under fire. In Oscar, I see the same relentless focus Michael had, and the same adaptability that made Fernando such a formidable rival, Stella remarked in an interview earlier this season. The combination is rare, very rare. That blend of traits has carried Piastri to 6 wins and 12 podiums in just 14 races this year. He now leads the World Championship standings with 284 points, just 9 clear of teammate Lando Norris. McLaren's refusal to impose team orders has only intensified the drama, leaving their 2 drivers free to duel and their rivals sharpening their knives in the background. For Alonso, Stella's remarks sting twice. First, because the Spaniard knows exactly how valuable Stella's endorsement is. He worked side by side with him at Ferrari, where the pair narrowly missed out on world titles in 2010 and 2012. And second, because Alonso is still fighting tooth and nail to keep his relevance in the sport, even at 44. According to insiders, Alonso has privately expressed frustration that Stella appears to have moved on from his generation of drivers, placing his faith in Piastri instead. On track, that frustration has manifested in increasingly aggressive duels, particularly when Alonso has found himself wheel-to-wheel with McLaren's rising star. At Silverstone, the Spaniard's late-race defence against Piastri bordered on the desperate. In Hungary, radio messages hinted at Alonso's anger, calling McLaren's tactics arrogant. The irony, of course, is that Alonso's fire may be fueling exactly the kind of drama Formula One thrives on. A young champion in the making, guided by Alonso's former engineer, squaring off against the very man he's being compared to. The storyline writes itself. Beyond the headlines, Stella insists that his comparisons are not about inflating egos, but about shaping perspective. In private conversations with Piastri, he has detailed not only Schumacher and Alonso's strengths, but also their weaknesses, reminding the Australian that even the greatest drivers were fallible. Piastri himself has embraced this wisdom. It's reassuring to know that even world champions had flaws, he told F1.com recently. Learning from their mistakes as well as their successes gives me a better picture of how to improve. No one is perfect, but that doesn't mean you can't aim for perfection. It's this balanced, ruthless pursuit of improvement tempered by humility that has given Piastri the edge in his sophomore campaign. If Schumacher's clinical efficiency and Alonso's never-say-die grit can be combined in one driver, McLaren may have unearthed something extraordinary. As the season resumes after the summer break, tensions are set to escalate. Norris is refusing to play second fiddle, Alonso is desperate to remind the world he is not a relic, and Stella continues to pour fuel on the fire by likening his young protégé to living legends. The paddock has become a battlefield of egos, ambitions and grudges, and at the centre of it stands Oscar Piastri, cool as ice, ready to make history. The Australian could soon join Sir Jack Brabham and Alan Jones in the history books as only the third Australian Formula One world champion. But before he does, he may need to conquer not just his rivals on track, but the storm of resentment his rapid rise has unleashed off it. And if Alonso's glare in the paddock is anything to go by, the fireworks have only just begun.